Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you happen to be around the world, and welcome to the April 2025 Plugin Roundup here on Solid Academy. My name is Nathan Ingram. I am the host here at Solid Academy. It's so great to see everybody here. If you are just joining us in Zoom, open up the chat and say hello. I'm going to drop in once again for everybody the link bundle which contains four very important things. The first is the link to this document, which is this month's plugin list, as usual, about a dozen plugins that are newly updated in or newly added to the WordPress plugin directory. Also, there is the link for the replay. We are, of course, recording this as usual, and that replay will be available about an hour after we wrap up today. But a couple of other links there. One that I'll draw your attention to right here at the top of the plugin list, and that is a new little project for me and Chris. We are working on pluginroundup.com. This is going to be a place where you can look for all the plugins that we've talked about in the past. It's been a request, and we're slowly chipping away at it. So that is out there. And if you'd like to sign up for updates, just drop in your name and email, and I'll let you know when something is there worth looking at. How's that? Yeah, like Chris is saying, should be ready sometime around 2029, hopefully sooner than that. But yeah, it's out there. And we've got a pretty good amount of plugins imported. So we'll see. The other thing that's in the link bundle I'd like to draw your attention to is the annual WordPress professional survey from the admin bar. If you do client stuff with WordPress, Kyle would really appreciate your input on this survey. He says it takes less than 10 minutes. It took me like 3 or 4 minutes. Doug was saying the same thing in the pre-show. It's really, really quick. 20 questions, multiple choice, click, click, click. And they just need more data. The number of responses has been lower this year than in years past. And so the data I find to be incredibly valuable just about how other people are doing things. And so take a minute and fill that out. And I know Kyle would appreciate that. If you want to access the survey, the link is in the chat. I just dropped in that link bundle again. Just click on the link and you will be at the survey. All right, well, let's get started with this month's list of plugins, shall we? And we will begin with a plugin called Property. Now, this one is, it's interesting. It's like a real estate directory type plugin, which could be useful in a lot of different scenarios. If you have some sort of property list, doesn't have to be real estate necessarily. This is a full-featured plugin that just drops in and works. We were pretty impressed by the number of features this plugin has at no cost and your ability to do some reasonable customizations to what it shows. So let's activate this plugin called Property. And if you've ever needed a property listing, I mean, this is it. This will do it pretty well. So opening properties now, we have this big property settings, and there's a lot of stuff here. So there are a bunch of settings here. This is kind of an old style theme settings kind of page, but it's pretty easy to navigate, and all the stuff is here. You can actually import some demo content if you want to do that. You can select how you want the search to look on your properties page. You have controls over the colors. These are pretty ugly, but you can choose other than the default colors. You have the ability to sort how the different, how the archive view is going to look and what you're going to show there, how a single page view looks. You have lots of different options here as well. If you want to use Google Maps, you can do that. It uses Open Maps by default. So, but if you want to use Google Map, you can drop in a Google Map API key there and change up your settings. Yeah, lots of different settings, as you can see. You can even add your own custom fields, email templates if people sign up, the different pages set up for the plugin. It's pretty good. It does have MailChimp integration, so if somebody signs up for updates, you can add them to a MailChimp list. Yeah, so lots of different things. Let's see how this actually looks. Here, for example, is a standard property view. Now, this is, by the way, set up with a short code. And here's our map. So this is our property map, and we can, oh, there's only one property in here. So it can be a Google map, like I was just saying. You can drop your API key in. This is a leaflet open map by default. There's only one property listed. Otherwise, it would have lots of different options here that you can see. You can get right in. We can click on the listing and get more detail for the, gotta reset the permalinks. Because it creates a property post type, we got to reset those permalinks. Let's try this again. There we go. So here's your typical property view. I mean, it looks decent. So it's pulling in a lot of the styling from the website itself. There is a carousel view for all of the photos. It does have a scheduling form if you want to enable booking, different statuses here. It gives you the option even to generate a PDF. If somebody wants to, save a PDF of the property detail, they can do that. It has favorites. It has reviews built in, and then all your property details here. I mean, there's a lot here, y'all. It's pretty amazing. You can even drop in a video if that exists, attaching files, and then your reviews. So pretty decent little plugin. If you have a need to display properties of any kind, this does a lot. So here's how they're all set up, all your details on each one. So pretty nice. I think it would definitely be quicker than trying to build something like this yourself. So that is property from ThemeGlow. Really good classified property listing. All right. Questions or comments on that one? Mighty powerful for a free plugin, I'd say. Okay, let us scroll on down to another plugin. This one's called Scheduled Block. Now, I would find this particular block add-on to be super helpful on pages or posts where you want to show and reveal information at a specific time. So let's activate Scheduled Block. And the way this works is really intuitive. Now we have it activated. Let's go take a quick look at a page we have set up for this. All right. So here it just looks like a regular set of blocks until we open up our list view and notice that there is a scheduled block here surrounding a heading block and a paragraph block. Now this scheduled block over here, we got a display issue. I think this is my browser, not the plugin. It lets you set a start date and time. And this, by the way, is based on the WordPress time zone that you have set up for this particular WordPress install. So, this is set up for Central Time because that's where I am in the US. And so this would be 4:16 p.m. On the 6th, and stop displaying this at 4:10 p.m. yesterday on the 7th. So if we were to view this page, we shouldn't see anything. Let's just take a quick look. There's nothing there. And if we adjust this schedule to, let's just say, stop displaying this tomorrow instead, then we ought to get the contents. There it is. Pretty nice. So Vern, there's no cron involved at all. It's actually, I don't know exactly how it works. My guess is it's a PHP function that says if the content, if the current date and time is between this time, then show it. If not, then don't show it. Q's asking about screen readers. So here it is displaying. So obviously it would get a screen reader. You can see the actual content. If it's not displayed, it's not just hidden, it does not render. So if we refresh this, whoops, what did I do? Oh, let's make it yesterday. It doesn't render at all. So if we look at this again in the inspector, it's an empty div here for our content. There's nothing here for a screen reader even to grab, or for anybody to see for that matter. So it prevents the rendering of the content altogether unless it's between the start and end time. And it's really easy to use. If you want to set something up, you just go down here and start typing. There's your schedule block, and then your block is in there, and now you can just start adding whatever you want. So it's a little, if you're not you'll want to use the list view, is what I'm trying to say here, in order to really see your settings. But it makes it quite easy to set up. And it's super simple. It's just date and time, and that's it. Start time, stop time, done. So that is scheduled block from Michael Miller. Questions or comments about that one? Yeah, so there's no cron that can go wrong, like it's, removing the block or adding the block. It just wraps it in a PHP conditional, I would imagine, that makes it between the, start time, stop time. Pretty nice way to do it. Okay, well, let us move on down to the next plugin. This one is called Reshuffle from Elanova Digital. Reshuffle is a nice little plugin that, all you have to do is activate it, and it is going to let you, with drag and drop, reorder things on the back end of the site. And yes, I know there's other plugins that do this. Some that you might know right off the top of your head, like admin columns, like admin site enhancements has a feature that does this. This is a free add-on, and it just works right out of the box. So let's go into Reshuffle. Scrolling. Activate. And let's just go into our product categories. And so, this is a case where I would see this being, or something like this being helpful, because you may have, on the front end of your site, there's maybe some columns on your store page, and you've got, your category list. And by default, it's going to want to sort that category list alphabetically. And maybe you want to change the order in which those categories appear. So something more popular is at the top. Well, most of those display options have a sort by called menu order. And that's really the order in which they're displayed here on the back end. And notice how, as we mouse over this area, there's the crosshair that pops up, which says I can click this and drag it, and it'll stick in that location. So this lets me custom order just about anything I want in the back end. It can be posts, pages, taxonomy terms, all of this. So I can sort this by menu order this way as well. And then it'll display on the front end if whatever thing I'm using to display it has a menu order sort by option. So this is a really simple way, particularly if you've got a client, for example, that wants to change the order in which things appear in a little block. You can set it to sort order, then they can just come in and drag and drop to their heart's content. And it's really any post name, page name, product, custom post type, any taxonomy term, it just automatically turns on drag and drop for those types. There's no settings to worry about. It's just going to work. So, Elizabeth, yeah, you used to have to do things like change the ID and do little hacky things around to try to make things sort the way you wanted them to. So this is a simple way to do that. It's called Reshuffle, and it's a quick and simple plugin. That's what it does. Other questions or comments about this one? Reshuffle. Q, will the new order stick if the theme updates? Yeah, this has nothing to do with that. This is an order. I think it's in the post meta, or it's going to be in a meta field for each of these individual posts or terms. And so it has nothing to do with the theme. Yeah, totally outside the theme. Paul, is it changing the publish date? No, it is not. So notice I'll grab, well, these actually all have similar publish dates because they were generated at the same time. But if we drag this up, it's just dropping it in there. So no date changes. This is updating the menu order post meta field for these things. Simple, simple. Okay, so that's reshuffle. Nice, right? Anybody else on this one before we keep going? Now, by the way, if you want to sort by date again, you just click, your sort options here. Who is it? Not order by date. Oh, it's not even letting me do that. So once I drag something, that's interesting. No, it's stuck. It is what it is. So keep that in mind. All right. Moving down the list to another one I think you'll like. Again, simple plugins often are the biggest hits around here. So let's go into quick edit notes. I like this one because what it's going to do is, let me just deactivate a couple of things here just in case we get to this point and, we don't want a whole bunch of stuff active because who knows what will happen. All right. So quick order notes. Now, what this is going to do is give you a little notes field with posts and pages. Let me just show you where we go here. So here's our post list. And notice that we have this new notes column here. And we get to that through quick edit. This needs to be updated. I'll just hit update. And it drops it in right there. Or, if you have something, some other thing you want to comment on about that post or page or whatever, it's just accessible right here from Quick Edit. It doesn't show up on the front end. It's just for the back end, and it's going to let you add some notes to yourself about this item that's in the list, and that it's going to work for each of the. Now the WooCommerce column is a little weird here. That's kind of interesting. Let's see what that looks like when we update something. That's gotten kind of big, so we may have to pull some stuff out of here. Let's pull out tag brand. There we go. It just got a little too wide. So there you go. Got to give it some room there. Billy, yeah, we did. We mentioned Kyle's plugin called Noted, and we actually did that one several months ago. This does a similar thing. So there you go. This lets you do it right from the quick edit screen. Super quick and easy. Doug, indeed, it could be handy during a build. Any other questions, comments on this one? Quick edit notes. Oh, is this a bad link? Interesting. Bad gateway. Ooh. WordPress.org's got something going on. Isn't that interesting? The search doesn't work. Yeah, WordPress.org's got something going on right now. So there you go. Lovely. Okay, moving right along. To this one. Okay, I like this one because we had case in point just a bit ago of a plugin being activated and we had to reset permalinks, right? And so you probably find yourself having to do that from time to time, especially during development. Gosh, what was I working on the other day? And I was having to constantly refresh plugins because I was trying to figure something out. Yeah, so this plugin is pretty awesome. Now somebody's saying WordPress.org doesn't load at all. That's Fantastic. Yeah. So let's use Quick Permalink Flusher, something you can't use right now because you can't get to WordPress.org. Quick Permalink Flusher does exactly what it says. So let's activate this. And if you need to flush your permalinks, look at that. Right there in the admin bar, you got a link to click and done. How about that? Instead of going to settings and permalinks and saving and resaving, just click the link in the admin bar and you can reset your permalinks. Let's give it a try, shall we? Let's go to our, where is it? Property. This one. All right. And let's go back to that page where we got our permalink error. Property. Okay, so it doesn't work, right? And now here, even on the front end, I can click this, boom, done, refresh. Hey, magic. So quick permalink flusher is a good thing. So that's a maybe WordPress.org needs to quick permalink reflush their permalinks. Who knows what's going on? This is a really good one that I could see being in a development stack and then deleted at launch. Probably wouldn't want this on the site, live, but during development, that's a good one. Quick permalink flusher. So good stuff there. Not bad at all, right? Any other questions, comments about that one? Next down the list. All right. How many Gravity Forms fans do we have out there? Gravity Forms telephone field. This is a good one that I can see us starting to use regularly on our builds, particularly when we have a client who's going to have users from outside of your particular country filling out the form. So this one makes the international phone numbers simpler. So Gravity Forms by default in the phone field, you have the option to set it. Let me get that open real quick in our contact page. So the standard phone field, I'm going to put that in there, gives you the option of international or the US standard, which is, 3 in a parentheses, 3 and 4. Now, this is great, and it will validate this format if you choose it. But if you do international, you can pretty well just put anything you want in there with no validation. So that's not necessarily handy. So let's activate telephone. There we go. Telephone field for Gravity Forms. And if we refresh this page, there it is. Okay, so we had this added already. Now there's some options I want you to see. So first of all, this is a really cool feature that will look at the IP address of the incoming user, unless there's something that's blocking that, and it will determine from that IP address what country that person is coming from and default the field to that one, which is cool, right? The next thing is we have an option to do validation. So here's our US style phone number, 3, 3, and 4. If we choose something different than that, which I'll show you when we get to the front end, whatever format a various country has for their phone numbers, you can validate against that. So if they select Germany, for example, the format for Germany, it will validate against that based on, the country selection. So that's pretty cool. You can also say here, the preferred countries are US and Canada. Let me just get the front end of this up. So here is, right. So if I click here, notice that US and Canada are at the top of the list. Now they're still down here in the list in here as well. Or are they? Yes, they are. But the most likely countries our users will be coming from, we can put those at the top of the list by the standard 2-character country code here, and we can just continue to put pipes. You can do only countries. Matter of fact, let's just take their Let's do US, Great Britain, and Canada and get rid of this one. And we can have only those three as options. Well, we need to get rid of our settings. But you see there, so we can restrict it down to only those if we wanted to. And of course, we can make it required as we'd like. So really cool here. Lots of different features. And it makes international numbers a lot easier to deal with on the front end. Oh, where do you find the abbreviations? Mr. Google. Right there. And there are these lists everywhere. It is a standard, and it uses the standard 2-character abbreviation. So there you go. That is telephone field for gravity forms. I like this one a lot. Okay, let's move on down our list then to this one. D blocks hotspot. So this is a block, hence the name, from this developer called D plugins. And what this block allows you to do is to create a hotspot on your photo. Now, the nice thing, well, it depends on what you think here. The how do I describe this? Having a hotspot that requires you to mouse over it to reveal content is an accessibility issue. It's not my favorite way to do things, but it would be cool to be able to put notices on a photo like this and then maybe have a legend below it of what 1 is and 3 is and 2 is and whatever. And that's what this allows you to do. So you've got this hotspot block, and you add your image to it. You have a little bit of control over what these hotspots look like. But notice, like here, you can grab these, move them around. Whatever you want to do here, we can add another one. And then save the image or save the post. Well, and the wizardry here, well, notice like there's kind of a legend, but notice even as it gets smaller, there is some sort of technical wizardry here that keeps the dots where you put them so that even on a mobile device, they are where you put them, which is kind of cool. I like this one a lot. And you can add your text in a normal way underneath. And it's just easy to use. Q is asking, can the user tab to those hotspots? No, there's no mouse over at all. That's the thing. That's what makes this, if you have a visual impairment, then this is not going to be helpful anyway. You could do something with alt text, but you have the regular text under here. So there is no interaction required with these hotspots to display the text. So this is really more maybe hotspot. I guess it's technically a hotspot, but it's not a mouse over interaction. Yeah, Q. That makes sense because when I think hotspot, I think of I put my mouse on it, I can click it, or I mouse it and it reveals like a tooltip or something. And I don't like that sort of. I just don't like that kind of design anyway because it's fiddly, and it can create issues for some folks. But this way, look, here's we can make this even a little better if we did it this way. What if we come down here and we did a row? And we did a 2-column row. And now we're going to drop in our hotspot into this section. And we put our information in the section beside it. Oops. There. this will give us a little better view, I think. Ooh, something. I wonder why that is. It should be fitting that image. I wonder why it's not fitting this image. Well, that deserves some experimentation. But setting it up where it's side by side and you have your legend over here, that makes a lot more sense. That's bad, but you get the idea. I have to experiment with it. Oh, only circles? No, you can actually in the settings, you can change the radius. So it can be a square or a rounded rectangle, rounded square, like that. But it's going to be squares or circles or somewhere on this radius continuum. You can change the size just with the standard block editor typography selector here. And you can change the colors here as well. Can you save the image with the markers? Maybe? Question mark? Yeah. What you can do is screenshot that. Legally mine, that's exactly what I was. So there's nothing on the back end that's going to let you export that, but you could totally screenshot it. I mean, why not? That's the easiest way from here to there. All right. Anybody else on D-Block's hotspot? Pretty fun little plug-in there. Okay. Next on the list is a plugin called Precart. Precart. So interesting here. This plugin is going to be great for you in two sets of circumstances. Number one, you have an e-commerce store where you're constantly showing things that are on order. Like there are a lot of stores now that take pre-orders before the actual thing comes in. Like, they do the pre-orders, then they order the thing, and then they fulfill the orders, right? So that's what Precart's going to let you do, and it just works. So let's activate Precart. Scrolling. Okay, right there. Pre-orders for WooCommerce Precart. Okay, so let's just go into a product, and we'll go to this boot. And notice now there is a tab in the product data area called pre-order. So I was playing around with this yesterday. So right here, by default, it's off, obviously. But you can say, I want this product to be pre-ordered. And the release date is going to be set for, I don't know, a month from now, May the 8th. And how many products can you pre-order? So this is not the limit. This is where I got confused testing this plugin. It's not the limit to the number of things a person can pre-order. It's like inventory. So we're going to be getting 100 of these boots in on May the 8th. So that's what we just set. So this is like inventory. And let's open this product up. And now notice it's going to add this text, shipped on May the 8th. I can pre-order now, and it takes me right through the checkout process with the note that it's a pre-order. So I take the order, whatever, it sits there, order ready to be fulfilled. When I come in, I fulfill it, and there it is. So it's really, really handy, simple way to immediately enable pre-order functionality on your WooCommerce website. It just works. So this is also an option. Rather than calling a product out of stock, you could set it as a pre-order and take orders anyway. Heather, how does WooCommerce treat the payment? It's going to process the payment now. I don't think it is able to set. I don't have any payment methods set up in this one. I don't. At least this plugin doesn't do like a what's the word I'm looking for? A card authorization. There's no conditions. No, it's gonna process the payment. So this is it's a fairly simple plugin. So it's not going to have a lot of conditionals where you can just authorize the card, that sort of thing. That would be cool. And that's maybe they would do a premium version of the plugin. I mean, who knows? But this plugin only sets it for it displays the message and changes the button to a pre-order and notes that in the card as well. Do coupons still work? Yeah. Yeah. This is just, it's the normal WooCommerce checkout process. So all of that would be the same. So if you have, coupons or whatever, yeah, it worked just the same. What this plugin is going to do is add this note in the cart, add the note on the product, and change the button to pre-order. All right, that is pre-cart. Any other questions or comments on this one? My daughter, for example, is a digital artist, and she pre-sells, little merch items that she creates with her art. And yeah, she does all the pre-orders, takes the payments, and then fulfills the orders when they come in from the manufacturing facility overseas. This is a perfect flow for that. All right. Down the list to another WooCommerce add-in. This is related orders for WooCommerce. Now, let's just go into our orders list here. And I imported a bunch of dummy orders to test this plugin. By the way, when you import a bunch of dummy orders and the email address on the user for the site is your own, you get a lot of emails. So I did this, and then that was one of the last things I did yesterday. And I logged off here, went downstairs, and I looked at my phone, and I had over 100 emails in my inbox. Like, oh, okay, what in the world? And it was all these order confirmations. So anyway, what this plugin is going to do is when I open up an order, it's going to add a little box down here. Well, you know what? The first step to using a plugin is what, everyone? Activating the plugin. Yes. If you want to use a plugin, must be active. So let's try this again. We enter into the order, and it adds for us a box down here at the bottom that shows all the other orders the customer has made. This can be really helpful because in order to do this, otherwise you'd have to go out and do a search by the user, and it gets a little complicated. You have to dig into the WooCommerce reports maybe, but just right here, it's going to show, hey, this person has 35 orders, and they're paginated by, there are probably 10 in this list. And I can click through to those orders right here if I want to. It's a very simple, but I think helpful addition to the WooCommerce order view, where you just get to see all of the other orders the customer has made right there in order data. So that is it. That's what it does, and it's super helpful. You can just click through to other orders right here as well and see all the things. So that is customer related orders for WooCommerce. If you got a WooCommerce site, this is it's a pretty light plugin. There's not a lot of code involved in this, and I think it's very useful. Any other questions or comments on this one? All right. Next one on the list came out of last month's plugin roundup with a post rating plugin. This was suggested by Doug. Is Doug here? Yeah, Doug's here. So Doug suggested this plugin to us. It is called Rate My Post. And I think it is a little more fully featured than the one we showed last month. So pretty cool plugin here, Rate My Post. Let us not make the same mistake before and actually activate the plugin here. Where is the plugin? Did I accidentally delete the plugin? Nope, right here. I hate it when plugins do this. So it's feedback WP, rate my post, WP rating system. So we'll activate that plugin with 3 names. And we have an option here in the sidebar now for feedback WP, which is the same as rate my post for whatever reason. Okay, so we can have a number of different options here, but only stars are available on the free one. We have some display options. Do we want to automatically add this to all posts? We can, to pages. Do we want to have a results widget as well? Do we want to get an email when the post gets rated? Probably not. Prevent accidental votes. That's pretty good. So you could confirm the vote. If we're in 2008, you could turn on AMP compatibility mode. Had some other options here, but basically you can also show links to your favorite social media if they have a positive rating. So if they give me a good rating, which is 4 or 5 stars, then it'll also say, hey, follow me on Facebook or whatever. If they, where is it? Right here. If it's a negative rating, it'll show a little block. How can we improve this? So it's pretty good. By default, it's going to add to all of our posts on the site. So oh, good. Well, that's weird. That didn't do that yesterday. I wonder if we have a conflict. If you ever wonder why I disable plugins after, occasionally through the live stream, I don't know which plugin. It's probably a combination of plugins that don't like each other. Let's try this again. Nope. Interesting. No, it's just broken. Well, that's fun. It's so weird. Who knows why that happened? Well, there you have it. Now let's go to the blog. Oh, yeah, Vern, welcome to my world, man. Okay. So we now at the top, see, we have our feedback rating, and down at the bottom, scrolling, here, how useful was this post? I can click on a star rating. It was very useful. Submit rating. Oh, it was good. So now I get the follow notice. But if I had given it a bad rating, it would give me, hey, how can we improve? It's kind of cool, right? I like this one. And, it's calculating our ratings as we go here at the top. Not bad at all. So you have a bunch of different options. If you don't, or if you only want to display it in certain ways, it's got short codes you can use as well. So it's pretty flexible. So good one here, Doug. This is Rate My Post from Proper Fraction. Any other questions or comments about this one? Free version is posts and pages only. If you want to upgrade the custom post type, products, that sort of thing, you got to go pro. Q, can they enter comments even if a good rating? Unfortunately, no. They only give you the option to enter the feedback if it was a negative rating. Anybody else on this one? Rate my post. All right. Well, let's go down to the next one here. We're coming into the home stretch. This is Document Library Hub. We had a question at one point, I think it was in office hours several weeks ago, about having a document library of some sort. This is a pretty good free solution for that. There are others that are better, especially, in a premium plugin, which is to be expected. But if you have a simple, a low budget project, nonprofit, doesn't want to spend money, whatever, but they need some sort of a document library, This is pretty good for free. So let's activate this document library hub. And over here in the sidebar, you will see a new documents. And we got a couple of documents here. So I don't know. I'm not sure what you were looking at to find this one, Chris, but we have a document called the Anatomy of the Somatosensory System. So for all of you that want the anatomy of the somatosensory system, here you go. So it can be, the document file can be a media library link or an external link. We're going to let this be media library. And so it's really simple to set up. It can have a description. You can have categories and tags, an excerpt, etc. All the regular features of a post. Now let's go to the library display, which is here. And notice it's a short code, which it provided for us back over there on the list. So let's just take a look at this. And here it is. I mean, this is, it's a an Ajax search system. So as we type, it's filtering out our results, set our number of entries. Clicking this opens up the PDF, or you can actually set it. Whoops. Oh, that was lovely. You can actually also set it to go to a single page for the document if you want. Here is where we set up the library itself, this education library with the short code. We can build out what we want it to look like, what we're going to include in our columns. Yeah, and include which categories, for example, of documents. Yeah, and that takes us to this visual. So we get information on the file type, size, download here, and so forth. Billy, yes. So you can have media library housed documents and also external documents, or a mix. Like you don't have to choose either one. Like some documents can be external, some can be from the media library. Does it display the document? No. What it does here is open. Notice here, it opens the PDF in the tab. So it's not a PDF viewer. It relies on the browser to do that, which is probably better. Sometimes these PDF viewers are really wonky and they use iframes and it's hard to deal with. So that is, let's see, the edit screen is the excerpt part. Yes, exactly. Well, no, sorry. The post content, you could set this to open up a single page for the document if you wanted to with more detail. I have this library set up to open the PDF. Yeah, see right here, the link to the document post, to nothing, or to the file itself. So you can change that for each of these items. Really straightforward to use. So that is Document Library Hub. Any other questions on this one? Pretty cool plugin. All right, let's go down to the final plugin. Another audience suggested plugin from Mr. Anderson. Ben, are you here? Oh, Ben's not here for this one. All right, this is a great plugin. Not only does it have a great little icon here, it is a great plugin called Plugin Detective. So this is sort of a wizard approach to troubleshooting issues on your website. So I didn't want to tempt fate, or I could have tried to diagnose that issue we were having earlier with this one, but I didn't want to demo something where I didn't know where the demo was going to go, because, my track record with that is not so good. However, we will demo something using my favorite plugin of all time here on the Plugin Roundup. It is called The Fly. The Fly. And so if you're familiar with The Fly, you know that it adds a fly to your WordPress site. I love this plugin. It's so devious. It would be a great April Fool's prank. And if you smash the fly, then other flies come to its funeral. And there's a really nasty sound. Okay, so we're gonna call this. You ready? We're gonna debug our website. You're welcome. We're gonna debug our website from the fly. So, hey, there's something wrong with my website. I've got flies on the homepage. Okay, let's activate Plugin Detective. It needs theme music. Dun 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 dun. Okay, plugin activated. So let's go here and notice there is an icon here called Troubleshoot that also appears in the back end. So front end and back end. So you can do this on if you're seeing an error on the front or the back. So let's troubleshoot this page. Now we're going to load our Plugin Detective UI. Oh, sorry, you're having trouble. Detective Autobot on the Autobot. Oh, I see what they did there. You see what they did there? Click the button. Okay, open a new case. So it is now taking a look at my site. And is this where I'm seeing the issue? Yep, I'm there. I need to debug the site. So what plugins are required? Now, it's going through a logical debugging process. So we're going to show which are the plugins that we absolutely have to have on the site. And that is disable comments, gravity forms, all the cadence things, the meta box, our solid plugins, and WooCommerce. So that's all that I need. Okay. So we're going to take a look. 11 suspects have been interrogated. 4 are in the holding cell. So let's start our interrogation. Loading it. Okay, here's the site. Is it fixed? Yes, the bug is gone. So we'll hit OK. Now we are narrowing it down to another interrogation. Oh, look, there. Okay, no, it's still broken. All right. We're still thinking. Start our interrogation. It's fixed. Interrogation. Nope, still broken. The fly's there. Ah, look, culprit found. The fly. How would you like to deal with this culprit? We can deactivate it, or I can just go back to the dashboard. So I can just deactivate that plugin for me and problem solved. Isn't that great? Now, I mean, yes, I get it. We could probably figure this out on our own, but it's cute. And it might not annoy me so bad if I have to debug a site. Yeah. So thank you, Ben, for a fantastic plugin called Plugin Detective, with which you can literally debug your site if your problem is with the fly. So there you go. Questions or comments about Plugin Detective? Okay, so with that, we end this month's roundup with the question we always ask, which is, what was your favorite plugin of the roundup? One vote only, please. The fly technically not featured. Sure, you can vote for the fly if you want to. Whatever. That's great. But do you really like the fly better than Plugin Detective? I mean, Plugin Detective is, yeah, it's running away. Plugin Detective by far. Let's see. Couple votes for Document Library. Yeah, it's Plugin Detective. Couple votes for Property. Yeah. Plugin Detective by a mile. All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this plugin roundup. Let me remind you, if you came in late, a couple of important links. The first is pluginroundup.com is sort of live. There's at least a coming soon page. I guess that counts. So the pluginroundup.com site is live, and I would invite you to sign up and get notifications about when we make this live. We have 10 years of plugins that we've reviewed here, and we're going to try to make those searchable and useful and whatever on this site. And, at some point in the next year, we'll get this finished, hopefully sooner than that. But sign up there on pluginroundup.com and we'll let you know when we're ready to go with that site. It'll be a lot of fun. I won't spam you, I promise. The other thing that I mentioned, the links are there in the chat again, is the Admin Bar 2025 WordPress Professional Survey. Kyle was just saying this morning that their submissions are a bit low. So if you came in late, you didn't hear us talking about this, if you work with WordPress and clients, this will literally take you 5 minutes or less to complete. It is super quick. 20 questions, most are multiple choice. You can just click, 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 and be done. And this is really helpful data when you read the results. So the more data, the better. It makes the results more instructive. So there you go. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. That's it for the week, unless you're a member. And of course, we're back for office hours on Thursday here on Solid Academy, where we go further together.